Thanks very much. Thank you, Manchester. If you want one little story that just shows the sort of people that they are in that conference, this is a group of people whose argument this last week has been this: we can't trust Jeremy Corbyn at all. We can't trust him because when he's asked if he would press a button to annihilate the entire world, he says he wouldn't do it. What sort of a crazy person is Jeremy Corbyn who won't do it? Their argument is, I'd do it, any of us would do it, because we're sane, you can trust us, you can rely on us to keep you secure, we'd happily annihilate the entire planet. And this, of course, is the argument of the media, the people, the Rupert Murdochs, the multi-millionaires and billionaires that for some reason don't seem to agree with the slogans and the ideas of someone who wants to reduce the power of the multi-billionaires. This is their attitude. Every day you think, what will it be next? I'm sure tomorrow then one of the Tory politicians, the newspapers will say Jeremy Corbyn supports women-only gravity or something of that nature. Every day there was just 2 pages in the Daily Mail, a paper that I'm sure everybody here reads from front to back, and in the Daily Mail there was a 2-page story about what life would be like if Jeremy Corbyn was Prime Minister, and it started by telling us that the whole of London would be on fire. And this makes sense because, as any Cub Scout knows, the easiest way to start a fire is to renationalise the railways. We all know that. But all of this suggests a moment in a drama that older people here will remember from about 25 years ago, a drama called A Very British Coup. And in that story there was a steelworker, a left-wing radical steelworker, the sort of person that would feel very at home here today, and he became Prime Minister. And at one point, when all of the state, all of the unelected people, all of the people you see today trying to undermine the ideas of Jeremy Corbyn and the ideas of this march, all of the people who don't agree that life should just be for the very richest people, the people who for some reason find themselves holding the wealth and power. And Harry Perkins, the hero of the story, says at one point to one of the people trying to undermine him, "Do I, Harry Perkins, a steelworker from Sheffield, scare you that much?" And this chief civil servant says, "Yes, Mr. Perkins, you do." And you can see that now. You can imagine now Jeremy Corbyn saying to one of these people, the general that says that his people will mutiny if he comes in or something of that nature. You could see him saying, "Do I, Jeremy Corbyn, a man who cycles around North London and keeps an allotment for the evenings, scare you that much?" And the answer is yes. Yes, Mr. Corbyn, you do. And there's a reason for this. And there's a reason, I think, for this. It's that they have had it their way for 20, 30 years. For 20, 30 years, they have had it their way, not just that they rule in this way, but even the opposition in this country has agreed that there is no other way to rule society other than this handful of people at the top of society just grab more and more of the wealth at the expense of the rest of us. They've had it their way, that nothing is entitled to exist unless it's making someone a profit. It's almost like a law of science that they believe that if Balfour Beatty aren't involved, then the thing will just melt. They have had it their way for years, and now it's not their way. They've had it their way for years that when their system cracks and ends up putting millions of people into poverty, that it's the poor that should pay. Their idea is that there is a group of people in this country who have taken all the money that seems to have put the country into debt. And who is it that we've got to get the money back from? The poor, that's who, the poor. They've taken it all. They've swiped the lot. The people who we've got to get the money back from are the firefighters that we've just heard from, the nurses, the teachers, these people. The idea that tax credits are going to be taken away from the third child, as if somehow they've misread biology and a third child doesn't actually need food or clothes, seems to be something they believe. And yet in the recent years, in the last 2 or 3 years, not just in Britain, but around Europe, around the world, a movement of millions of people has grown that says there can be another way. There can be another way in which society provides for everybody, not just for this handful of greedy, squalid, filthy, corrupt people at the top of society. There can be another way. And in this country, In this country, I think this movement has been growing and growing, and it's been looking for a home, and it's found it in the person of Jeremy Corbyn and the movement around him this year. And that is a movement, not just of Jeremy Corbyn, but of millions of people who agree with his ideas. And that is why they are scared of him. Because they are not just scared of him, they are scared of us. They are scared that those ideas he represents can be taken up by millions of people and run those filthy people out of this town and out of country.